Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today we have got another Naruto character review, and today's character is Omoi. As always, spoilers, so if you're not caught up with Naruto Shippuden, you may want to do that first, because there is going to be some spoilers. But yeah, let's get right into this. So, Omoi. Well, he is a cloud ninja. He is trained by Killer Bee himself. So he is one of the students along with Karui and I forget the third ninja there. She's the captain, but she doesn't speak much. Anyways, so Omoi, he's certainly an interesting one. He's one who likes to get caught in his head a lot. He thinks too much and he tends to go a little crazy overboard with his thoughts, getting into the ridiculous quite often. But he's a pretty rational dude all in all. Like, yes, his fantasies get absolutely ridiculous, but in the end, he usually pulls himself back down to earth and comes up with a fairly rational approach to things. When you first meet him, he's traveling with Karui. I think their commander is Sarui. Anyways, those three are going to the Leaf Village. And everything's gets a little crazy there when they run into Naruto and Sakura, because they're there to take down Sasuke. To get permission to take down Sasuke and to get intel on him. So when they run into Naruto and Sakura talking about him, things get a little heated. Naruto ends up going off with those two and, not very far, like just to another part of the Leaf Village to talk. And, Naruto says, hey, I can't give up my comrade. They're like, then what do you expect us to do? Naruto suggests that they beat the crap out of him. Karui very easily takes him up on that. Omoi just kind of sits back and watches, and it's just like, wow, this guy, he's something. And you can tell he truly appreciates what it is that Naruto's doing in that moment. And he definitely gains a respect for him there, especially when he later finds out exactly who Naruto is and like how he easily, saved the village and defeated Pain, and like, yet he's just letting Karui beat the crap out of him, to try and protect his friend. Despite the fact that Sasuke, as far as anyone knew at this point, had kidnapped and possibly killed their master. Sasuke's done some things. Omoi, he kind of understands the nuance of the situation. He's really good about that kind of stuff. Later you see him join up in the war. And at first you see him under Konkuro's unit to his commando unit, dealing with the front lines forces. So he doesn't seem to trust Konkuro at first, but things end up moving in the right direction. And you get to see his lightning style and sword techniques a bit there. Then after they eventually prove victorious there, I think it was Omoi who was actually the one who neutralized Deidara. I messed that one up. After that, he ends up getting reassigned to Kakashi's unit, and they end up, dealing with a bunch of reanimated people with Kekkei Genkai, as well as a bunch of the 7 ninja swordsmen, and he deals with that pretty effectively. Omoi you really get to see a lot of him in this. He's the one member of B's team that actually gets a good amount of screen time, and also the only guy. I don't think that's a coincidence considering how often that happens in the show. But Omoi, he definitely you get to see a little bit more of his character when he's in Kakashi's squad. You see him really not trust himself. You see him really debating whether or not he's really fit to be a ninja and what it means to be a hero. But in the end, he proves himself and he realizes what it really means. Kakashi and Guy really help him with that. Then shortly after that, in the middle of that, he ends up abandoning post to go try and save some kids who he believes are in danger. So he just ditches his post to go do that without really telling anyone. They figure it out, and he kind of lets them know what's up, and eventually they give him an hour, but um, yeah, that ends up being a bit of an issue. But in the end, he does end up saving them. Um, he ends up teaming up with one of Naruto's shadow clones who shows up. Although you really get to see how clumsy this guy can be, because he ends up accidentally slashing Naruto's shadow clone in the back with his sword and takes out the shadow clone, who was really helping him out a lot. Like, things would have gone much, much smoother if he had just not taken out the shadow clone, because yeah, that shadow clone was really cleaning house, making things much, much easier. But he does manage to pull through. He shows some resourcefulness, getting the high ground to get away from the poison when that comes, jumping into the lake because he can't breathe anyways, getting lucky and happening to find some sea creature that was expelling air for him to breathe, and breathing that in order to get some strength back. Using his lightning style at key moments to take out enemies en masse when he had the opportunity. And he did end up saving the kids, partly because the kids had coincidentally at the same time decided to form a last-ditch counter-strike before they ended up dying of lack of air. So while they still had the strength to do it, they formed a counter-strike, teamed up with Omoi, and were able to clear a path and get to safety. And yeah, so you really get to see him strive there. You don't see too much more of him after that. I mean, a little bit more with dealing with more of the reanimated shinobi, but that's mostly it. You'll see him here and there interacting with like B, and you can see that he becomes you really see his student side show up more, where he lets his guard down a lot more because he's around his master. So that's really Omoi. He's definitely an interesting character. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of Omoi down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. Maybe subscribe to the channel. I don't do too many of these videos, but I do them somewhat regularly. I do a lot of Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 videos. So if you're interested in D&D 3.5, definitely give that a subscribe. Maybe ring that notification bell in order to get notified, because YouTube's terrible about that. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch, and I'll be seeing you